Have you ever heard of places that once a person passes through them, they're never the same again? Places with no law, no light, no hope. Today, we're not talking about ordinary prisons. We're talking about hell beneath the earth. Prisons where screams are etched into the walls. Prisons where people lose their minds before they lose their lives. Prisons that, even if you walk out of them, you never forget their smell or the echo of their walls. Some people were skinned alive in these places. Others were buried while still breathing. And the worst part? Many of these prisons still exist today, and some countries call them normal. So stay until the end. What you're about to hear isn't a horror movie. It's a reality lived by thousands of people every single day. And before we begin, thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel. Let's start. In the heart of Paris, between beautiful streets and quiet cafes, hides a nightmare called La Santé prison. Opened in 1867, it became a symbol of psychological terror, not because of extreme physical torture, but because it destroys a person from the inside. Prisoners were placed in tiny, solitary cells with no human contact. Imagine living for months without speaking to anyone, without seeing the sun. Suicides reportedly happened weekly. Even guards complained about strange sounds at night, screams, whispers, voices of people who weren't there. And the prison is still operating today. If Russia is famous for its brutal cold, then one remote Siberian prison is the true embodiment of that cold. Built in an isolated area beyond icy mountains, a place even regular planes struggle to reach, it was designed to cut inmates off from the world completely. Escape is impossible. Even if you somehow get out, you'd freeze to death before reaching civilization. Prisoners are kept in iron cells with no heating, even when temperatures drop to -40 degrees. No entertainment, no activities, just cold food, a frozen cell, and deadly silence. Speaking to another inmate can land you in solitary confinement for months. It's meant for those labeled threats to national security, though sometimes the reason is as small as sharing a post against the government. Then there's a prison for the criminally insane. Not just criminals, but murderers with severe psychological disorders. People who killed and felt nothing. Some committed horrifying acts without remorse. What makes it worse is that they're treated, not purely punished, meaning there's a possibility they could one day be released. One entire wing is filled with inmates who scream all night, talk to walls, or burst into laughter while singing. One prisoner once said, "I killed my mother, and I don't regret it. She was ruining my day." What do you expect from a place filled with minds like that? Hilton of Death wasn't given that name accidentally. From the first day, inmates are chained with heavy iron restraints for months. Even going to the bathroom, they remain shackled. Food is little more than rice and water. If no one sends you money from outside, you barely survive. The most terrifying part? Executions can happen suddenly. An inmate goes to sleep alive, and by morning, their name is on the board. No farewell, no appeal. Within seconds, it's over. In the 1990s, one notorious prison became infamous for placing young political detainees with adults. Reports described torture with electricity, forcing prisoners to sing songs praising the ruler. Some lost their memory from the abuse. Others ended their own lives because they couldn't endure it anymore. Even those released often left mentally and physically broken. One boy entered at 13 years old and was released at 25, not knowing what life even meant. If you want to see how crime can consume an entire system, Carandiru in Brazil is a powerful example. Built for 4,000 inmates, it once held over 8,000. Cells designed for one person held 2 or 3. In 1992, a small riot broke out. Police stormed in, and 111 prisoners were killed in what became a massacre broadcast to the world. Bullets, blood, screams. After the scandal, the prison was eventually shut down, but the families of the victims still demand justice. In Colorado, there's a prison known as the Black Box, where if you enter, you might never truly come out. It houses some of America's most dangerous inmates, terrorists, gang leaders, serial killers. Prisoners spend 23 hours a day in a concrete cell with only a bed, toilet, and fixed table. They see no one, hear no one. Food trays slide through a slot in the door. The 1 hour outside is spent alone. Some inmates have gone decades without meaningful human conversation, to the point they forgot how to speak normally. In certain prisons, the system collapses into pure survival. The strongest live, the weak die. The state withdraws control, and inmates form gangs. Each gang controls territory, weapons, even rent for protection. If you're new and don't pay, you might not survive your first night. Guards sometimes watch from rooftops, intervening only if absolutely necessary. People who lived in such places slept with homemade weapons hidden under their pillows. It's a reminder that sometimes humans can be the most dangerous creatures to each other. In North Carolina, there's a facility for inmates deemed mentally unfit for trial. They committed horrific crimes but were declared not legally responsible due to mental illness. They won't be executed, but they won't be free either. They live together in a loop of screams, laughter, and the demons inside their heads. One inmate claimed he killed 4 people because he heard an angel command him. Another committed unspeakable acts under delusion. Inside those walls, there's no escape, not from the building and not from their own minds. And finally, in North Korea, there's a prison camp known as Camp 22. It's one of the most secretive and terrifying detention facilities in the world. Not just criminals are sent there, but people suspected of minor mistakes, or even relatives of someone who offended the regime decades ago. Entire families are imprisoned, forced labor, 1 meal a day, no education, no freedom. Survivors who escaped described underground cells, collective punishment, and people dying from cold, hunger, and disease. Some said inmates were so desperate they ate grass to survive. The government denies these camps even exist. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you found this content powerful, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and drop a comment. Thank you for watching.